Well, so that's the big question. Are they political campaigns, or is it just government work engaging in public participation in the capacity of the deputy president? On the flip side, we've seen Azimio la Umoja. Yes, it's about unity, but when these politicians speak about what they intend to do once they're elected to presidency, I think that's campaigning, or the borderline of it. Ambassador Vitisia in studio, as well as Professor Midamba. Right before the break, we're deliberating, and let's talk about this. Prof, the politics of double speak. We've had Raila Odinga equally distance himself from campaigns, putting IEBC on the spot. Azimio la Umoja, that's his mantra. One Kenya Alliance on the other side, they've been making maneuvers in the country. Does this amount to early campaigns? Because according to the IEBC timelines, 30th May 2022 is when it should start and end 48 hours to the election date on 6th of August.
What we need to be about, Jesse, is reinforcing our laws so that people who violate our laws cannot stand in any constituency like my friend here is planning to do. They need to look at their record. They need to be ruled out. And once that kind of thing happens, we will discipline the leadership like Singapore did, like South Korea did, so that we follow the procedure. Now, Ambassador here just declared his conflict of interest and indicated he's going to run. And therefore is free as a Kenyan to speak his mind the way it is. But you cannot earn salary. You cannot earn public money. And at the same time, you're doing right the opposite of what you are supposed to do. The honorable thing to do is to resign so that you're a free person and you can go and do that kind of thing. And therefore, we need to begin to execute our laws.
Okay, proper. Ambassador, it's an issue of early campaigns here, and he questioned we should draw the line, definitely, but does IEBC have the capacity? They fired a warning shot, but imagine what would happen if they reprimanded any of these alliances. They would clap back these politicians.
Jesse, we are not living on the moon. The moment the last elections ended in Kenya 2017, the next day campaigns started for 2022. That has been happening. The DP has been the leading campaigner for 2022 since 2017. But then, you know, the commission, the IEBC, has no teeth. Did you see what Chebukati said? The commission appeals to. He did not say directs. He did not reprimand. They were appealing to the Oka Brigade, to ODM, to UDA, not to start early campaigns. They were appealing. An appeal does not mean a directive. The commission needs to be given the teeth to bite, as the professor here has said. They need to, by now, they should even be writing letters that we are giving you 30-day notice to explain what you are doing on the ground. On this day you said A, B, C, D. On this day you declared this. In this day you wrote out your manifesto for 2022. My friend, we still have a president. Why are you campaigning for the seat when the president is still there? So the important thing is, can we get the IEBC to have the teeth to bite? The problem with the IEBC, they're all politicians. They get there through political privilege. That's how they get there. So they play to the gallery of politicians. Obviously, Chebukati cannot announce that DP, you're not going to be a candidate in 2022 because you are involved in early campaigns. He needs to do that. In Burundi, where I was, we have to learn from some small countries. You cannot even put up a poster that you are campaigning unless the IEBC there has given you in writing that you can begin to now campaign to sell your agenda from this day. Kenya needs to start getting serious.
So is it just the IEBC we should be talking about, or the politicians who, I'll use this word, who have the audacity to perhaps, you know, the double speech we've seen? They mentioned they're not campaigning, but on the flip side, and it's not just the deputy president, One Kenya Alliance as well, you know.
All of them are doing it, but they are doing it to flex their muscles. That is, I am also in the field, and they pay people to turn up in large rallies to show the other side that I'm also.
But it's wrong, you know.
It's wrong.
Yeah.
It is wrong. But that's what I'm telling you. If you are a referee in a football match and you don't blow the whistle when it is required, the footballers will not take you seriously. They'll even do handball, they will do what, they will tackle badly because the referee is not taking control of the game. And the referee in this case is IEBC. They're not in control.
Yeah. Okay. Prof, what does he say about the electorate? Do we hold these leaders accountable at the end of the day? Because with double speak, they're definitely taking Kenyans for a ride, campaigning glaringly in the open, but at the end of the day, when they're put to task to explain, I mean, we're not campaigning.
Jesse, if you rate the public performance in Africa, we are just around 1% or minus 1%. Okay, and public performance can be demonstrated by the leadership. Dave Logan have about 5 classification of public performance, stage 1 up to stage 5. Stage 1 is when we completely fighting each other, grabbing everything for ourselves. And stage 5, the last stage, is when we become much more innovative, when the institution is respected, when we're doing what we need to do, the level where Singapore is, the level where South Korea is. The point is, the public ourselves let this happen because we go ahead and vote for the same people.
Sure.
When we know we elect them to perform on our behalf, but they're campaigning for the next thing. So we need to come out and demonstrate with our vote that these people cannot be given the second chance. That's number 1. 2, we need to discipline. We need discipline in our judiciary to prosecute these people and lock them up so that they are not leading the country. We need to be Kenya is performing a little higher than most countries in Africa. Like I say, we are number 3 in terms of performance in sub-Saharan Africa. We're number 6 in the entire continent. So we're performing a little better, but we could do way much better if we discipline our system, our judiciary, our legislative, and our executive. And
the political class as well. But even as you add on that, we saw the youth sort of paint a picture of disenfranchisement when it comes to registering for the general elections. And perhaps this could be the reason why they're barely turning out to vote, because they see the timelines haven't been set yet. The politicians are already taking to it. And when put to task, they'll mention they're doing something different. But is this the reason why you perhaps see, I don't know about Vihiga County and how the youth turned out to register?
I actually took a lead in trying to mobilize the youth register. But then I realized the youth want to be given hope and inspiration. That in 2022 their lives may change by voting. That is what we are lacking in this country. The youth are disillusioned with the whole system of governance in Kenya. Many youth have graduated 10 years ago. They have degrees. They're looking after cows in the villages. They don't see the need to vote. But we need leadership now that can come and give hope and inspiration to the youth that if you vote, perhaps. But the way we are doing it now, the inspiration we are giving the youth, telling them, even if you don't work, I'll give you 6,000 shillings, or that we go back to the wheelbarrow technology, that is not inspiration for the youth. We need to have inspiration to the youth to tell them that if we get the economy right, you'll be able to get a job. If we get the economy right, you can be able to innovate and be able to have your idea pay you. This is what we need. But then also, Jesse, our parliament, the laws that govern campaigns, Chebukati does not have these laws on himself. It's only parliament that passes laws. So you have hyenas looking after goats. They are making laws that suit them and not suit the country. You see what happened recently? campaign financing and all. They shut down all those things.
True.
Yeah, but Parliament needs to be the ones now saying this is the type of elections we want in Kenya, and these are the laws that will govern these elections. And those are the ones Chebukati will use to bite.
But it all boils down back to the electorate. We're the ones who vote these legislators into power, and they sort of are a mirror of what the society stands for. So if they take them first, then it's a reflection of how we voted as an electorate. Right, Prof?
You're right. You know, I have, and I coach a lot of young people.
Yeah.
Okay, both as a former vice chancellor and on myself. I'm very involved. I know a lot about Vihiga, former governor, current governor, deputy governor. I work with all those people, and I've trained a lot of MCs, both overseas and also local. The issue is we need someone like Kivuta Kibwana. We need someone like a Nyang Nyong. I'm not calling them because they're professors. But Kivuta Kibwana has a formula, which is the public decide. If you construct a road utilizing public money, you cannot just sign off and say the road is completed. He has public going out there to examine and give feedback to his office, which said the road has been completed and we're happy. So the governance of the people, the innovation of the system, such that the youth, these young people can see this work for us. And that's what inspired them to be best leaders of the future. Okay. We have a lot of young people who are wasted, who are MCs, who see my purpose of being here is to fight for money. But when we give them opportunity, they'll sit back and reflect that I need to think through why I'm doing this. I discourage quite a number of young people who's told, they called me captain when I was vice chancellor. They said, Captain, I'm going to run for parliament. Captain, I'm going to run for MCA. And after we sit down for 10 minutes, then you find out they're not ready to run.
Okay.
So why don't you think through a very compelling reason that make you run? What is it that you want, what difference do you want to make that you don't see right now?
Okay.
And therefore, we need to live and make sure that you are not going in because you are unemployed. So you are going to get employment. You are not going in because you are going to have opportunity for corruption. Kenya needs to be punitive about this kind of people so that we can change our country.
Service leadership. If you're not on the table, you're part of the menu, yeah?
Yes. Our politics has also been monetarized too much.
Yeah.
If you are a politician and I've just entered.
You're speaking from experience now. Yeah.
Experience, my friend. If you don't have money, don't try. Even if you are the best leader, even if you are the best Kivuta Kibwana, our politics has been monetarized, where leaders are buying themselves into parliament. And perhaps that is where even IEBC needs to bite more. And that is why Parliament threw out the campaign.
Exactly.
Yes, they threw it out.
Yeah.
Because they know how they got there and they want to go back there the same way.
They'll have the advantage.
Now you ask yourself, if somebody spends 100 million to become an MP, and the salary for the, an MP gets only 600,000. The salary for the 5 years you are there will not even pass 30 million. Then you spend 100 million, but then the MP gets 160 million per year for CDF. Don't you see there is something else, something fishy somewhere?
Itarudisha pesa, eh?
Itarudisha pesa.
Okay.
So we need to interrogate the use of CDF funds. If you look at what the constituencies are doing with that money, my friend, some people will be in jail now.
Okay.
But nobody is also monitoring the use of CDF. Where are the laws that govern the use of CDF? How is the accounting for that money done? It is very important that we start interrogating these matters.
Oh, the Office of the Auditor General. Anyway, gentlemen, I know foreign relations expert when it comes to bilateral ties between countries as well, diplomacy.
Yes.
That's your forte, gentlemen. And let's talk about President Uhuru Kenyatta's South Africa visit. On Tuesday, just this week, Kenya and South Africa signed 8 key bilateral agreements, sort of ushering in a new dawn of cooperation between the two nations. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta and President Cyril Ramaphosa witnessed the signing of the agreement shortly after they led their delegations in bilateral talks at Union Buildings in Pretoria. Now, the 8 agreements include issues in transport, health, diplomatic consultations, and training, as well as an MOU in tourism and migration.
It should be easy enough for a small or medium enterprise based in Cape Town, Pretoria or Johannesburg to be able to move its products seamlessly to Kenya. And vice versa, it should be easy enough for a company based in Mombasa, Nairobi, Kisumu, to move goods to markets in Southern Africa. But what is the impediment? The impediment is how to get those goods there, how to get them there easily in terms of speed, how to get them there at acceptable costs. That cannot happen if we do not deepen our linkages in terms of our air services, in terms of our seaways, in terms of our rail, in terms of our road networks. We need this interconnectivity to be able to facilitate that. And the only way, again, we can do that is by bringing the corporations that are responsible and charged with that mandate in our respective countries closer together to partner and to start developing these rail, road, sea and air linkages. And yesterday we had the opportunity to witness the signing of an accord between South African Airways and Kenya Airways. And as I said when I was talking to the business community, we should never see these as competitors, but rather as collaborators, as partners, working together to facilitate business. Today we're here visiting Transnet to see how we can deepen their partnership with Kenya Railways and also with other railway systems and companies in our part of the world, so that we can share technical input, we can share engineering expertise, we can share how to link our respective rails together, how to manage our respective rail systems together. All this, again, aimed at trying to facilitate the movement of goods between our two countries. So, Minister, mine is to say that I'm keenly looking forward from yesterday's meetings where we declared political intent, where we declared business intent, to today when we are now looking at the practical side of that cooperation. And
well, President Uhuru Kenyatta right there speaking in South Africa during his 7th trip to the South African country. But get this, Kenya's envoy to South Africa, Ambassador Catherine Mwangi, during a media briefing before President Kenyatta jetted into Pretoria, said the signing of the Migration Memorandum of Understanding will be a precursor to establishing a visa-free regime for Kenyans traveling to South Africa, calling it a reciprocal move because South Africans already enter Kenya without a visa. But surprisingly, even though an MOU on migration was signed, Pretoria gave the visa issue a wide berth, meaning Kenyans will still need to apply for a visa before visiting South Africa. And that's not the case the other way around, an issue Kenyans have complained about, saying it is a sporty process to get a South African visa. Now, Pretoria and Nairobi have a visa facilitation arrangement that allows residents of the Southern African country to enter Kenya without a visa. Now, Ambassador Vitisia, who's from an ambassador's point of view, what exactly happened to the angle of reciprocity, briefly?
You know, before I even go to that, President Uhuru has really prioritized the region as the center of his foreign policy. And in the region, we know if we trade, we have the issue of shared prosperity, that we are able to engage so that we can trade with each other, so that we can develop together.
Yeah.
South Africa is a competitor economy, but South Africa also complements Kenya in many ways. If you look at the history of relations between South Africa and Kenya, you look back to even before their independence, we had the frontline states. Frontline states that now seem to think, because they were the front line in assisting South Africa to get independence, they have a right, they should have a bite at the pie first before Kenya.
Yeah.
Because they said, Kenya, we had the Njonjos who were working with Botha, we had the who were working with the de Klerk. So Kenya was trading with South Africa even before South Africa got independence, where the frontline states had sanctioned South Africa and all.
I get you. Yeah.
So we are coming from that history. So over the last years, since South Africa became independent, Kenya has diplomatically navigated itself to be a very good friend of South Africa within the region. And it is in that perspective that even issues of visas are being discussed. One, we get a lot of South Africans coming to Kenya as tourists. And Balala would be very happy to have a visa-free regime where South Africans can enter Kenya for free. If you go to our hotels, we have a lot of South Africans who come. They have their parks and all.
Okay.
But something attractive about Kenya is in South Africa. And South Africans have a lot of money to spend. So, but then, when it comes to reciprocity, these are issues that have to be discussed. Kenya gave South Africans visa-free entry based on Kenya's interests. We were looking at Kenya's interests.
Oh, yeah.
How many South Africans will come to Kenya to look for jobs? Few.
Yeah, but they'll be coming as tourists, yeah?
Yeah, they'll be coming as tourists. How many South Africans will come to Kenya to invest?
Okay.
So we are telling South Africans, if you want to enter Kenya as a tourist, no visa. If you want to enter Kenya to invest, no visa. Look at the other side, South Africa. Most of the Kenyans who go to South Africa are actually working there.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we have a lot of Kenyans who are working in South Africa. So many of them have residence permits. And to enter South Africa, because of what the problem they have with the rest of Africa, in terms of migration. You know, we have people who live in Ethiopia, who live where? They pass through trucks going to South Africa. They pass through Kenya. One thing, we have to look at our passport.
Okay.
It was very easy to get a Kenyan passport. That's why we had issues with the UK. A person who is not necessarily a Kenyan will get a Kenyan passport and benefit from the visa-free regime in the UK. That happened until the UK put visas on Kenyans.
Yeah.
These are the same negotiations now South Africa is concerned about. That can we trust that if we open up a visa-free for Kenyans, the people coming here are actually Kenyans? And that the Kenyans who will come here will not be an economic burden to South Africa.
Okay.
But reciprocity as a diplomatic whatever is a very good term, but it must be based on on interest of both countries.
Okay.
But the good thing is at least they've put a committee in place to look at how they can gauge who actually can benefit from the visa-free entry. But
this committee is not new, right?
It's not new. This has happened before.
Exactly.
Yeah, this has happened before. And the first committee came up and gave reports that, you know, there are this. So the second committee might be addressing those hiccups that were addressed by the first committee.
Well, it's a game of wait and see, patience for the Kenyans. But Prof, foreign relations is your forte. Why isn't there a measure of reciprocity? Is it because of our porous borders, perhaps, as he's hinted, or because most of us going to South Africa will definitely go there for the jobs, and perhaps that's an issue, as we've seen internally in South Africa. Yeah. It sort of boiled out during that little crisis they had.
Jesse, the most important thing Africans need to understand is that our number is 1.3 billion people in this continent. China has 1.4 billion people. Africa is the next frontier for the world, for Europe, for the Americans, and also Asians are now beginning to look at Africa for two reasons. One is the natural resources, which is largely untapped. And secondly, is a potential huge consumer boom, which is coming. The problem is that we Africans are not prioritizing these issues. We're not prioritizing economy. We're not prioritizing security, which is really vital and which will allow us to rapidly develop. South Africa is number 2 right now when you look at the total major economy of Africa. Nigeria has moved to number 1 because largely depend on oil and everything, and South Africa is there. But South Africa is the most developed when you look at infrastructure development of all countries in Africa. And therefore, we're looking at issue of manufacturing COVID-19, the manufactured delivery of COVID-19. That's a very important relationship that Kenya and South Africa need to have. You're looking at issue of governance. I train a lot of people at Joburg, that had municipality, that had a really good example, on how the governors work together. And so I took a lot of MCAs out there for training. And then to also go in and talk to actual people and network so that they can return here to Kenya and do a much better job. The relationship between South Africa and Kenya is very, very important. Like Ambassador said, our opportunities right now is to really go out and get the economic connection. All right? And then have a proper security arrangement, because those goes in tow as far as our development is concerned. Free the president of Kenya to play their role in our sphere of influence so that we're not locked down on this domestic quarrel about corruption and about governance and about everything. And so Uhuru is doing the right role. Is opening up the market for Kenya so that Kenya can move back and forth between Kenya and South Africa freely, goods and services and the people. And the more open the sky in terms of transportation, the better we are going to be as Africa.
Well, the world is a global village, and perhaps that's the question, why there's no measure of reciprocity. But just hold on to your thought kindly, Ambassador. We want to take a short break right now. We'll be back with the same deliberations as we expound on the diplomatic issues bedeviling the region as well. Remember, the U.S. Secretary of State was recently in the country, and he got to talk about regional security, and Kenya plays a key part in that. Stay with us. We'll be right back.